What is going on, everyone? I am Mike. Welcome back to Tech 24/7 TV. I am glad that you're with me today because we're unboxing a brand new accessory. This is the Satechi Dock5, and this is a charging station that's designed to relieve all the charging anxiety that you have in your life for all the different devices. Now, this device has the ability to go ahead and charge 5 different devices by a mixture of either USB-C, USB-A, or wireless charging, Qi charging as I like to call it. And now the question is this worth buying? So in today's video, we're gonna go ahead and unbox it. I'm gonna give you my opinion after using it for a few days, and I'll let you know at the end who should buy it. Let's get started. Now, before we get in the review, if you like this type of content, iPad accessories, iPhone accessories, things that make your life easier, make sure you hit subscribe, consider turning on notifications because that's what we do here every week. And I got more crispy content coming your way. Now, like I said in the beginning, this is the Satechi Dock5, and this is designed to go ahead and charge 5 devices at once. It has 2 USB-C ports, which are going to be at 20 watts apiece, and then 2 USB-A ports, which are each 12 watts. On the front, it has a Qi charging pad, which will go ahead and charge any device up to 10 watts. So there's a total of 70 watts in this unit, which is really a good thing for most people. Now, I bought this because I have an iPhone, I have an iPad, I have a work phone that I need to keep charged, and quite frankly, I always forget to charge my work phone. And this is really, I think, going to make my charging life easier. Now, I plan to put this here in the studio and not on my bedside table because not everything I bring, obviously, to my bedroom when I want that charged. Now, let's go ahead and get this opened and see what it's like. Now, I did go ahead and pick this up from Satechi. They do have them available now. It was just recently announced, so there might be some maybe delays in getting it because it's just a brand new product. But otherwise, I say I got it really quickly. It's probably about 2 to 3 days of shipping after purchasing it. This comes with, at least it looks like on the box, an integrated plug, which is going to be good because I don't like when they have those big chunky adapters that you have to plug in separately from that. It just makes the whole, I guess, fit and finish of the product feel cheap and chintzy. Now, it's worth noting that I don't believe this comes with cables, that they give you the option to purchase them separately online. And I guess for 60 bucks, that's not really expected because it is coming all by the unit itself. Let's put this to the side. First thing that I notice about this is that the top of it is all soft touch rubber. So when you put your devices in here, it's going to actually give you some protection from it being scratched or nicked. It is plastic, the base is plastic. Here on the side, you see the ports are labeled very clearly, so you shouldn't mix that up. One thing I think is kind of strange, the lip of it, it's actually not attached, but there are these little divots that secure in there. Okay, well, I guess I would have thought that this is all gonna be one part of, or a single part of the construction. So there's a single cable to go ahead and plug this in. This is obviously the US plug. So this is pretty ideal. Now, I personally am okay with the fact that it doesn't come with any USB-C cables or any cables to charge the devices, only because I would rather have the cost low and use the cables that I want to use opposed to buying them from Satechi because they're, I think, like $17 for the USB Lightning cables and then $10 for the USB-C cables, straight USB-C. So that is okay with me. Let's plug this in. I certainly understand why they make short cords because this is obviously a regular Lightning cable from Apple and it's obviously too long. Now, while this won't charge a Apple Watch directly by using the Qi pad, you could use one of the magnetic pucks that you got with your Apple Watch and then use that to charge your watch separately. That's totally doable. What you even could do is take a MagSafe charging pad, put that on here if you want to charge another device via MagSafe, but that really wouldn't make sense. Now, I think from a design perspective, this is actually really nice. It does have good fit and finish, minus these pads that come up here towards the end, but I'd say that's not really a big concern. I'm just nitpicky. I really like the fact that it only has one cable that has to plug into this. And it's good because if you have more than one device, like again, an iPhone, you and your spouse have an iPhone, you and a friend have an iPhone, and some iPads, that's going to work out really well for this. I do like it from that respect. I probably would have bought the cables now kind of looking at this because these cables are really long and it's kind of obnoxious the way that it sits here and that it's really long like that, because I think it's supposed to be a charging station, not something that you pull your device out and then put it back. When you're done with your device, you put it back, charge it up, and you're on your way. Now, at the end of the day, you're gonna ask yourself, who should buy this for 60 bucks? Now, I think that if you have more than one device, whether it's an iPhone, an iPad, a pair of AirPods, an iPad, if you're a multi-iPad family, This is really, I think, a good deal for people who have those kind of environments, because you can go ahead and charge multiple devices at once without necessarily having to have a bunch of cables tied into your countertop, your desktop, wherever you have those devices, because it has a single cable that you see right here. I think at $59, this is probably one of the better ones I've seen. There was one that I saw last year. It was the Scosh Base Links, and I'll put a link to it above. That was nice because you could configure it any way. You had a module for the iPhones, a module for the Apple Watch, a module for charging your iPads via USB-C, and you can kind of expand this as you needed to, which was really cool. But it was at least double the price. I think it was almost $200, so it's probably about 3 times the price of this. This is not necessarily as configurable, right? You have only these 4 ports and this Qi charger that's on here, but I think it's giving you, I would say 80% of the functionality for 2/3 less the cost. So for me, I think that this is a really good deal. I would say that you wouldn't want to get this is if you're trying to solve an Apple Watch problem, because unless you want to use the charging puck by itself, this isn't something that I would say is necessarily designed to charge an Apple Watch. And this is maybe like a workaround, not necessarily the way that it should be done. But let me know what you think about it in the comments below. My name is Mike. This is Tech 24/7 TV. And folks, I'll talk to you in the next one.